What is going on, Dodger fans? Hope everyone's having a great evening wherever you are. You are listening to the Incline Dodgers podcast presented by Tick Pick and Fansided. This is Kevin Klein speaking. Your Los Angeles Dodgers are now 62-45. That's good for 4.5 games ahead of the San Diego Padres for first place in the NL West. We're coming off a victory finally. The Dodgers take game one against the Cincinnati Reds with a 5-2 final score. Yoshinobu Yamamoto delivered and brought it. He threw 7 strong innings, had 9 strikeouts, just 1 run allowed, and he kept the Reds off balance all night. Alex Vesia got a hold. Blake Treinen came in, made his long-awaited return after spending months on the injured list. It was a little rocky for Blake Treinen. He ended up actually giving up 1 earned run and couldn't close it out. So Jack Dreyer got the final out for the save. But we got a lot to talk about, Jake Reiner. How are you doing? What's top of mind for you? There is a number of topics for us in some Dodgers baseball with the deadline just a few days away.
Well, the second half hasn't been great starting off so far, Kevin, and that Red Sox series, Dodgers end up losing 2 out of 3 to start the road trip, and it wasn't looking great. So to get this win tonight in Cincinnati, even though it felt like a comfortable win, Treinen, good to see him back, but kind of put them in a precarious spot with the bases loaded. Jack Dreyer had to come in and save the day. But the point is that there is no order cannot be restored unless a win occurs. Like that is the best way to get order restored, is to win a ball game. And so this episode has shifted completely, I think, the mood if the Dodgers were to have blown that game or lost it. So I felt pretty good about how things went. Yamamoto was on fire and has been dominant. I learned from watching the broadcast, Sportsnet LA, on the postgame, they mentioned that Yamamoto has a 1.78 ERA on the road this year, which is 3rd best in baseball. So he is dialed in on the road, which is great because you think of home field advantage being an advantage. And for him, it seems like he's a lot more focused on the road, a lot more dialed in. And he had every single pitch working tonight. I think he got a strikeout on every one of his pitches or damn near close to that. So overall dominant performance. And then the other thing, Kevin, that I want to mention is that this offense scored runs without hitting the ball out of the yard. Very, very, reminiscent of the first half of the season when the Dodgers were manufacturing runs like crazy. Shohei had a big night. I loved what I saw from Mookie Betts. We know we've been on him recently, but since he's returned from his, excused absence, he's looked a little better at the plate. So hopefully that's a sign of good things to come.
Yeah, Yamamoto, I love that you threw out the road stat. That just kind of shows how focused he is when pitching on the road. And he's just continued to have a great season for the Dodgers. 2.48 ERA, 133 strikeouts, over 116 innings thrown. He's made 21 starts, and he's got 9 wins. So he's been good. Tonight was just a great performance from Yamamoto in a hitter-friendly ballpark. I want to talk about the big news that dropped earlier today, though. So let us know in the comments section what your guys' expectations are for Alex Freeland. And if you don't know who Alex Freeland is, he is one of the Dodgers' top infield prospects. He's played mostly shortstop throughout his minor league career, but has recently transitioned to playing some third base. And I think the Dodgers were doing this maybe as kind of a contingency plan if Max Muncy were to miss more extended time. And we got word that Max Muncy is actually going to make his first rehab start tomorrow, Tuesday, in Oklahoma City. So that's a really good sign for Max Muncy, who came back earlier than expected. But in terms of Alex Freeland now, Fabian Ardaya broke the story that they're going to call him up. We'll talk about stats in a second, but I think the reason Freeland is getting called up is, unfortunately, one of Tommy Edman or maybe even both, Hae-Sung Kim, could be on the injured list.
Yeah, the Tommy Edman's dealing with an ankle injury, Hae-Sung Kim with the shoulder. You really saw it tonight with Kim. Just the swings looked off. It looked like it was painful for him to swing. And now you kind of have no choice right now but to put one of them on the IL. Personally, I think both should go because Tommy Edman has been in and out of the lineup all year. And he's been on the IL before, but he probably should be on there for longer. I think the Dodgers can, like I always say, weather the storm without those guys for now, but we do need them for the stretch run. So get healthy now. Give guys like Alex Freeland a shot, who's been tearing it up all year in AAA.
Alex Freeland has been really good in AAA. He's hitting 253 this season, but the OPS is basically 800. He's got 12 home runs and 71 strikeouts, and he's definitely been on a heater very recently. So that definitely is a well-deserved call up. In terms of Kim, I'm going into this deadline now kind of thinking that we have to make a trade to replace Hae-Sung Kim. I think this shoulder injury is probably more serious than we're being led on to believe. Credit to Kim for being in the lineup and battling, but you can just see with him at the plate, he is constantly whiffing. And there has been frequent times now where when he swings and misses, he grabs his shoulder. And when you're grabbing your shoulder on swings and misses, that's telling me you're in some severe pain and you're playing through it. So I don't want to predict the worst of the worst, but we've seen players in the past with shoulder injuries like that, and it usually doesn't end up being a short-term injury.
Yeah, I think Kim is the casualty here to go on the IL, because I heard that Tommy Edman says he expects to play tomorrow. And Dave Roberts was saying that the reason he wasn't in there tonight was because he really couldn't be trusted to play defense on that ankle. And Dave Roberts said that he would have hit Tommy Edman for Kim late in the ball game. I think it was against the lefty. I'm not sure what the situation was, but Dave wanted to go to Tommy Edman there, but couldn't because he knew that he couldn't play defense. So that's that. But it looks like Tommy Edman's probably going to be back. And if Freeland's joining the team, most likely Kim going on the IL.
Yeah, I mean, Kim's stats just show he's not right. 158 batting average over his last 7 games, 10 strikeouts over 19 at-bats, 225 batting average over his last 15 games, 18 strikeouts in 40 at-bats, and a 224 batting average over his last 30 games. So credit to Doyers Dave, because he had the tweet, and I'll just mimic what he said. It's ironic to me that when Kim was perfectly healthy and hot, they wouldn't put him in the lineup. And then the moment he shows signs of injuries, they won't stop playing him.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
I think they're just desperate right now. And I mean, our medical staff isn't really one to be trusted because they've pitched guys with torn UCLs like Tony Gonsolin, and it just made the injury worse. So I don't really know what's going on here, but thankfully they're pivoting and they're going to call up Alex Freeland, as we just talked about. And I think you're gonna see Freeland mostly at third base because obviously Mookie Betts is going to play shortstop, and I don't think Freeland has the makeup to play second base. So he'll probably be at third base until Max Muncy returns, and then Freeland will be down back in Oklahoma City, I have to imagine.
Yep. I think that's exactly how they're going to play it. But I'm excited. I've been wanting to see Freeland play with us for a while, and it's nice that they're finally giving him a shot. And he's very much needed. I mean, I know Max Muncy is expected back soon, but he's very much needed, and hopefully he can shine, because would be great to have. You know, what would be great is and again, I don't know what the plans are for Mookie Betts moving forward, but my hope is that they give up on the shortstop thing, where despite how good he's been there,
we know it's not happening,
and move him over to second or something, but basically vacate that shortstop position and develop Alex Freeland. You know, granted he's good and he's, you know, worthy of that, but it would be cool to kind of see them develop another guy like that, like a Corey Seager.
Yeah, I mean, maybe next year, but I think they're all in on Mookie playing shortstop, and they have to be put into a situation where it's essentially DEFCON 5, where everything's on the line, and Mookie's struggling or something happening defensively, and they decide to pivot. But I think they're just complacent and they feel confident with Mookie at short. I know we both don't get it, but that's just how the Dodgers have rolled. And Teoscar doesn't make sense in right field, but they continue to roll that out too. But I do think that's going to change after the deadline, and we've got some really exciting trade deadline stuff to talk about in a little bit later on the show. But I want everyone to hit the like button who's tuning into our live stream. If you got questions for us, we'll definitely take some questions. But I want to talk about some other interesting notes. And I think this could make one of us heated. Not like super heated, but definitely showing signs of being annoyed. Robert Murray reported that the Dodgers had a session with Joe Kelly where I don't know if other teams were involved as far as the report said. It was just Joe Kelly throwing for the Dodgers. So, Jake, let me ask you this. Are you open to the idea of Joe Kelly re-signing with the Dodgers?
I don't know. Is there a reason that he's not on a team right now? Like,
Yes,
if what
there
is
actually is.
which is what?
He wants to only play in Los Angeles.
Oh, so he's a one-team guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that means something. Well,
He
if
doesn't
that's
want
the
to
case, then
relocate his
no.
family.
If that's the case, then no other teams are there, right? So
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Joe Kelly is like a guy that we just can't quit. Like we can't get rid of him. We tried once before.
He's our Jesse Chavez.
Right. And then we brought him back. Now he's gone again. And are we going to bring him back again? Look, I don't. Here's the thing. Part of me is like, I don't want Joe Kelly near this team. But the other part of me is like, why not give him a shot? Like, why not let him join the team and see if he can be effective? This Dodgers bullpen, who knows what's going to happen with it? I mean, who knows what kind of Tanner Scott's going to be when he comes back? Is Kirby Yates going to be this bad for the rest of this season? What's going to happen with Treinen? I mean, Treinen's stuff looked good tonight, but he was a bit all over the place. Didn't really have a lot of command. Although I have to say that the umpire squeezed him pretty badly on a few pitches that, would have not led to that Lux leadoff walk. But regardless, the bullpen is such an uncertainty that maybe you do take a chance on a Joe Kelly and just see what he can do. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in it, and it's not like I'm clamoring for it.
Just don't do it, Dodgers. We do not need to go back to the Joe Kelly well. He wasn't even that good for us last season. He barely had an ERA below 5, and he was completely wild. And not to knock him or take anything away from him, he had no role at all in the playoffs. It's not like he really helped us win a World Series last season. 2020, he was definitely a key component. But last season, we're talking about now, like 4 years later, not very good. I mean, he had an ERA of 4.78. He had a whip of almost 1.5. He walked a lot of hitters. He was just all over the map. He missed basically the second half of the season with, I think, he had some type of injury in his was it a shoulder or some type of arm injury. But nonetheless, he wasn't a contributor. We didn't use him in October. I'm good. And also, I'd be sick to my stomach if the Dodgers pivot and think they found something in Joe Kelly and they use that as their excuse not to trade for a reliever.
Oh, no. They would not. They would never do that. That would, that is not what they're saying or would ever say. Are you serious? No, they would never say, that.
Definitely do that. Because there's definitely reports out there that they don't want to overpay for any more relievers.
I know they don't want to overpay for any more relievers, and we'll get to Clase. Hey, he's off the fucking, he's off the list. No, I don't think that if they sign Joe Kelly and don't get a reliever at the deadline, like I don't feel like those moves would correspond with each other. I feel like the Dodgers, first of all, I feel like the Dodgers are going to get a reliever because they have to. I know as much as Andrew Friedman doesn't like doing this, unfortunately, his big signings have not panned out. So we need help, and he knows that. And this is a great window for the Dodgers to win back-to-back World Series. I think they're going to go for someone and get someone. And if Joe Kelly joins the team, it'll be in addition to whoever they get. But for me, like, what is the harm of having him join the team if they like him? And if he's bad, they're not going to use him. They're not going to use him in the playoffs or anything. It'll be just like last year. But what if he's really good? What if he becomes like electric? Who knows?
I just it's so late in the season now. Like, am I really gonna buy into Joe Kelly after like 10 games and then say, oh yeah, he's gonna dominate in
I
October?
think Kevin, I think you're putting a little bit too much weight on him and what impact he has with this team. Because if they do end up signing him, it is a flyer in every sense of the word. It's like good if you get something out of him, but they're not gonna push it. The Dodgers have enough high leverage relievers coming back or will be around, hopefully.
I
And
don't think we have enough high leverage relievers at all. That's why I'm
no,
worried.
I'm saying that I think that they have enough high leverage relievers where Joe Kelly's not going to factor into that.
I know, and I hear you, but I'm saying like our high leverage relievers have been pitching like shit. So it's a very low bar, and it could be easy, like a guy like Joe Kelly, to surpass them. I mean, Joe Kelly might be better than Kirby Yates as is, but do I really want to give up on Yates in favor of Kelly? No, I'd rather give up on Yates in favor of someone else more electric, like a Ryan Helsley or Duran, which we'll talk about momentarily. But like Scott's been bad. We don't know what we're going to get out of Tanner Scott, unfortunately. Michael Kopech continues to get hurt left and right. He's probably a mummy at this point. I don't know what we're going to get out of Kopech when he returns. Brustar Graterol, I'm pretty sure his shoulder has been completely severed from his body at this point, and they're trying to put him back together like a Frankenstein. I don't know where the hell Brustar Graterol has been. And then um we got Trinan back. That's the big one. He's
Yeah.
the one that I think we can rely on consistently in high leverage. So
Yeah.
that's a big addition.
I really think they're going to get a reliever. I don't think I think it would be unacceptable if they didn't. I mean, is their biggest need, biggest gaping hole because the starting rotation is coming back and they're taking form. I mean, Glass now looks amazing. Yamamoto looks amazing. Kershaw's looked good. And then we've got Snell on the way back. And who knows what's going to happen with Roki Sasaki? Is he on the way back? There are enough starting pitchers coming back to where the focus is only the bullpen and
Yeah.
maybe a bat. I'd love a bat, but it's not the biggest thing far and away is a reliever.
Reliever is definitely the priority, but they have to get a bat. Like if they don't make it out of this deadline with a bat, I'll be very disappointed. And I don't want it to be Joey Gallo all over again, where they get some massive scrub who just contributes absolutely nothing. They do need to get a bat though, because this offense has been pretty lifeless for the last month. So they need some type of catalyst. And speaking of adding to the bullpen, Bobby Miller has been transitioned into a reliever. I feel like I deserve a pat on the back because I've been calling for this for over a year now. And the Dodgers are finally accepting fate that Bobby Miller is just not a capable MLB starter at this point, or even in AAA. I know he made one appearance so far. I think he gave up a run and a few hits and maybe one strikeout. So it wasn't the cleanest first impression, but I do have faith that the Dodgers can get the next version of a Michael Kopech or an Andrew Miller or Joe Kelly, ironically, in Bobby Miller. And so I would love to see him have some type of role with this team, or we might get the complete reversal and they're actually going to trade him in a few days.
Look, I just like with Joe Kelly, I've got to see something out of Bobby Miller. I have to see something. I need a few outings in a row in out of relief. His first outing out of relief didn't instill a lot of confidence in me. He has not shown really much of anything to give anybody confidence about anything. So it is a high bar for him for me to even think about wanting him as a part of this bullpen. But I am encouraged that they are trying something because I feel like with him, the stuff is there. A lot of it is mental for him, I believe. A lot of it is a lot of this sort of Rick Keel thing going on where something switches and he becomes elite at something else. And that is something that I hope for Bobby Miller in this instance because we need it. And whether they have Bobby Miller as a part of the bullpen, or I don't know if Dustin May survives the trade deadline, maybe he's a bullpen piece. But a lot of it's a wait and see. A lot of it is experimental. That's what feels so uncertain about this team right now is I was worried the whole time about the starting rotation. I did not think I was going to have to worry this much about the bullpen, and the bullpen is terrible. I mean, it is really bad. I mean, some nights they do put it together, like tonight they figured it out, but Trinan was a mess. And
He gets a pass.
but generally speaking, this bullpen has been a gas can all season.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Trinan a pass because
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No,
we
I
do, but
wasn't
we
I
do
wasn't
need to
coming
see
after him.
something from him, maybe in the fourth or fifth appearance after coming back. But I think it's time to talk some MLB trade deadline. Jake, was there any names that you've heard that the Dodgers have been connected to recently that you want to kick it off with?
Well, I want to say that the Clase Stephen Kwan duo is probably dead in the water
Oh,
given the reports.
well, that's a whole side thing that I want to get into. So
Yes.
let's
No,
talk
I
Clase.
wasn't going to get into that. I was just mentioning it off the top to say that I've got my sights set on a duo from the Cardinals. That's Ryan Helsley and Brendan Donovan. I think that would be a pretty sweet deadline if the Dodgers were able to wrangle those two. You've got a guy like Helsley who
Yeah,
is a high leverage reliever, is a closer, and is exactly what the Dodgers need, a right-handed fireballer out of the pen. He's been decent this year. And then Brendan Donovan is a perfect player the Dodgers like. He's having a great season. He can also play all over the diamond, and it just helps this offense. I think if the Dodgers could figure out a way to not be so reliant on Michael Conforto and be able to move Teo back to left field and put someone competent in right field or in center and move Pages over, I think they have to do that because at the very least, Kevin, would I like to have a bat? I would, but I think at the very least, shoring up this defense would be a huge lift too, because right now we're looking like the 2024 Yankees in the field, and we have lost some games because of this defense.
I'm feeling pretty confident that the Dodgers are going to come away from this trade deadline with not one, but two position players. One that will be kind of a starter, and then the other guy will be more of a defensive replacement, probably outfielder, like a la Kevin Kiermaier type. But right now, in my gut, when I dig down, I think when when the trade deadline is up at 6 p.m. Eastern time this Thursday, Ryan Helsley and Brendan Donovan are going to be Dodger uniforms. I feel like that's just the package. It just seems like it's the most logical fit for the Dodgers, and I expect that we're going to have to give up some pieces. I don't know who exactly, but right now my guess is Justin Robleski is probably one arm you see go over to St. Louis,
Mm-hmm.
just because he's essentially expendable at this point in time. He's proven that he can be a starter and a capable starter, and you're gonna have to give up something to get something. It seems like Robleski is a very attractive piece. The other one that I'm a little uncertain about, but I feel like the Dodgers are going to move one of their shortstop prospects, and it might actually end up being Alex Freeland, unfortunately. Maybe that's an overpay for Helsley and Donovan, but honestly, I'm not even sure at this point because Donovan's an all-star this season, and Ryan Helsley's an established closer who had 49 saves last season, and this season he has 21 saves with a 3 ERA. So I think it's going to be an expensive price, and it seems like there's been it seems like the Dodgers have kind of stocked up on shortstop prospects, and so they might view Freeland as expendable. Maybe that's why he's getting called up right now as a little showcase.
Maybe. What if you were to look at this deal and you'd say they would do it for Rushing but not Freeland, would you do it?
That's a tough call. I feel like yes, because it seems like the Dodgers are committed to Will Smith as they should be as their primary catcher, and if they're not going to play Dalton Rushing in the outfield and they're log jamming him in to just being a backup catcher, then I don't think it's worth keeping him if you could get a potential win now duo.
Yeah, see, I'm with you. I've been thinking about this, and Dalton Rushing, I was hoping a little bit more out of him offensively, even though I give him a pass for not being, in the lineup that often, but I was expecting a little bit more from him
Yeah.
production wise, but he is a great catcher. And Dave Roberts was praising him after today's game because he caught Yamamoto, and he was super impressed with how Rushing calls a game, how he handles the pitchers. And he throws runners out too. And I think that he was absolutely an upgrade from that standpoint over Austin Barnes, and they had to make that deal. But I think that Rushing for me would be an easy one to add to a deal to make a big splash, because the Dodgers could bring up a Hunter Fiducia and have him be the backup catcher and be fine with that move.
I actually wanted to talk about Dalton Rushing. So since you brought him up, I think the Dodgers honestly should send him back down to AAA because offensively, he has been a very rough watch these days. And I don't think it's good for his development if he's gonna be an everyday player or whatever their plan is to give him sparing at bats. I mean, across the board, he's got 36 strikeouts over 80 at bats. That's nearly a 50% strikeout rate. And he's only hitting 200 with a 545 OPS. The game calling and defense have been brilliant, but I just don't know if this is the optimal decision right now with Rushing. I would honestly swap him for Hunter Fiducia and kind of see what you get.
Yeah, I think that would sweeten any deal and would make a big splash if they added Dalton Rushing. And you never like to give up on prospects or guys that are young, and it's always a crapshoot whether or not you're giving up a perennial all-star.
Yeah.
But if you have insurance at the position, like Will Smith being your, basically the he's going to win the batting title at this point, it makes it much easier to part ways with guys like that. If you can get guys that will help you win now.
No, definitely. So let's say the Dodgers do get Brendan Donovan. I would expect him to probably play second base every day because Mookie will be stuck at shortstop because that's what Mookie Betts wants. You'll get Max Muncy back. He can play third base. Freeman will be at first. And then hopefully the outfield alignment looks like this. Teoscar in left field, Edman in center field, and Pages in right field.
Yeah. I think that if they're able to get Donovan, I think that's what they have to do. And what do you do with Conforto? Is he on the bench, or what do they
He's
do with
either
him?
benched or traded. I cannot have Michael Conforto in the lineup after this deadline. Like I've seen enough.
He has been an adventure, a massive adventure, because he will surprise you occasionally with a home run and a spectacular defensive play, but most of the time it's bad at bats, it's rally killing, and it is just atrocious defense. I mean, there was a ball at Fenway Park over the weekend that he was tracking down the left field line, and it landed 5, 6, maybe even 10 feet fair in front of him, and just basically was I couldn't wrap my brain around as to why he didn't catch the ball. And Joe and Jessica Mendoza on the broadcast were like, well, it's Fenway Park and he's learning it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this was a routine catch. He was nowhere near the line. I mean, it is bizarre to watch him play defense because he gets bad jumps on the ball, but a lot of the time he has no idea what he's really doing. And then he doesn't have enough speed to make up for it, like a Matt Kemp or something like that. And so he's flailing around. And I think there was a ball tonight that fell in or something when he was in Cincinnati. It's just been it's enough already with him.
Yeah, it's enough. And I know he took Walker Buehler deep, but honestly, taking Walker Buehler deep in 2025 is not that impressive of a feat anymore, even though it was very frustrating that we let Walker Buehler beat us essentially yesterday. I don't know why the offense performed the way they did. They were kind of bad overall in Boston. altogether. I didn't expect them to beat Garrett Crochet. I pretty much checkmarked that one as a loss, but yesterday I was very surprised that we dropped that game with Walker Buehler on the mound.
I know, and hitting with runners in scoring position, they were like 1 for 11, just bad. And Dustin May, I mean, he is the king of giving up leads. He just does it every outing. Every time he gets a lead, he gives it right back to him. So that was really frustrating. Because that pitch he threw to Bregman, my God, I mean, that was one of the worst pitches I've ever seen. And that was pretty much the ball game. But I was shocked by the offense. I really was. I could not believe we didn't get to Buehler.
It's time to talk Dustin May. Friend of the show, he's been on a couple times, reported that the New York Yankees are the front runners right now to try to swing a deal with the Dodgers to land Dustin May. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I think Dustin May is going to get traded. I asked Pat Ragazzo in a private online conversation, did he have any more intel? But no, he told me that the Yankees thing is definitely true, and he was hoping the New York Mets were going to be in on Dustin May, but he didn't have confirmation on that part. But it does sound like multiple teams are shopping May, probably because there is a need for starting pitching help, as so many great pitchers continue to land on the IL. And it's pretty clear that Dustin May just doesn't fit in with where this Dodgers team is heading. He's completely had an awful last 6-week stretch or whatever. ERA in the high fives, low sixes, a lot of inconsistencies, can't hold leads, giving up home runs, walking batters all the time. And so I've got a hot take for you, Jake. I don't know if you've thought of this trade as well, but let's say the Dodgers and the New York Yankees work out an agreement. How would you feel if the Dodgers got Trent Grisham in return for Dustin May?
That would be a tough pill to swallow. I can't stand him. I've never liked him, but what are his numbers this year? He's having a good season, right?
Yes.
I don't know. 17 bombs. I guess. I mean, he's a good outfielder. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a good defensive outfielder, and he's only 28 years old, so he's young. He's got an 804 OPS this season. That's pretty good. I mean, if you were to show me these numbers, right, of here's an outfielder with these numbers, and I don't know who it is, and I'm looking at the numbers and all of that, I would go, yeah, absolutely. Let's add this guy to the roster. I mean, especially with the defense. But then you reveal who it is, and you're like, I mean, it would be a tough pill to swallow. No doubt about it. But you know, it's happened before where guys have joined the Dodgers that we've previously hated. The one guy that came to mind just now is like Shane Victorino. I mean, how many times did that guy just piss in our cereal, you know, like every single time with the Phillies? Then of course he screwed us because when he joined the Dodgers, he wasn't great. Yeah. But there have been a bunch of stuff like that. So maybe I get over it. Joe Kelly, you know, he injured Hanley Ramirez, and that was one of the worst things you could do because the Dodgers were going to beat the Cardinals in that series. But yeah, I don't know. It would be a tough pill to swallow. What say you?
So he didn't play in the playoffs last season, even though the Yankees made the World Series. He had a really bad year altogether last season. But in 2022, I remember, and I'm looking up the stats right now, he was randomly super clutch. In the wild card round against the Mets, he had a 1900 OPS with a couple home runs. He went 4 for 8. And then in the NLDS, when the Padres beat the Dodgers, unfortunately, he hit 308 with a 938 OPS and had 1 home run. But then in the NLCS, he disappeared and he went 0 for 19. So that's a tough scene right there. But he did show signs of being clutch a couple times. I don't think he would be an everyday player for the Dodgers. So when I was talking about potential defensive replacements, he could actually be one of those guys. I know he had that awful play in 2019 with Hader on the mound, and he was in right field, and he let that ball get past him, and the Nationals go on to beat the Brewers. Can't forget that. But I don't know. I think he'd be an interesting target potentially, especially if it's literally just Dustin May for Trent Grisham. The other option that I was thinking about, because he's also on the trade block for the Yankees, Ben Rice, who's kind of been their first baseman slash backup catcher. If Dalton Rushing, either they demote him or they trade him, I feel like Ben Rice could be a nice backup option. He's got 15 home runs this season.
Ben Rice, I did not know he was a catcher.
Plays a
That's
little
crazy.
catcher.
I don't know I'm surprised that the Yankees would put him on the trade block.
Because they just don't really have room for the. They have obviously they have Austin Wells as their everyday catcher, and with Goldschmidt at first, they're just and he can't play outfield.
Yeah.
DH is obviously clogged. They have expendable guys.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would love Cody Bellinger over anyone else on that Yankees team, and I think that would be sick to watch, to have Cody come back to LA for one final run and to win another ring. That would be sick. But I don't know if the Yankees are going to be willing to let him go. But that would solve a lot of problems. I mean, Cody Bellinger, or even Trent Grisham, but you put Cody Bellinger on this team and you put him in center field, and then you can move Pages over to right and Teo to left, and bang, there you go. I mean, that would be sick.
I think it's wishful thinking. I don't think the Yankees.
Yeah, I know it's wishful thinking, but I'm just fantasizing over here.
So that's where I stand with Dustin May. I ultimately think we saw the last of him in Fenway Park, and he's going to get the James Paxton, Ross Stripling, Mitch White treatment, where they're going to flip him at this deadline, because with the reinforcements coming back, there just isn't a need for Dustin May.
Yeah, but I feel like the difference is that I think they can actually get a good, ready major league piece for Dustin May as opposed to
they should.
Ross Stripling. I think that Dustin May could get us something. If he gets us Trent Grisham, I think that's a fair trade, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I want to take some time to look at some questions real quick. So make sure you hit that like button while you're here and subscribe to the show. Turn those notifications on. And I see some questions, so let's get to this. Justin Yamas, hey Kevin, do you know who hit the ball that Grisham let under his glove? It was Juan Soto. I do remember that. I was watching that game, and I was like, shit, we're playing the Nationals. Aaron Sandoval, thoughts on Harrison Bader, who was a rumored Dodgers target?
I like Harrison Bader. I think he would be a great fit for this team. He is a great outfielder. He's having a decent year this year. He is 12 homers, 38 RBIs, 776 OPS, 337 on base. So he is a really great candidate. I would love to have him on the team. He's a gamer too. Kind of that Eric Burns style of baseball, just kind of will put his body on the line, and he grinds it out. So I would love him. If they could package him with one of those relievers on the Twins, that would also be a win.
I honestly am not interested in Harrison Bader at all. Just like if I was objectively, so let me get to that. If I was objectively told, no hindsight here, but the Dodgers are interested in Michael Conforto, I would have said no. I have no interest. Now, same story with Harrison Bader. I think this guy's on fraud watch. Last season, he was a complete train wreck when he was on the New York Mets. He couldn't do anything in the NLCS. And then this season, we saw him just a few days ago. Didn't he leave like 10 base runners on base when he was facing the Dodgers? I feel like he kept striking out every time he had runners in scoring position. I don't think he's as good as his early numbers indicate. His lifetime OPS is around 700. He strikes out a lot. He whiffs a lot. I'm looking at his expected batting average. He's a 225 expected batting average. He doesn't hit the ball hard at all. The average exit velocity is very soft. The best part about his game is definitely the defense. But to me, this is just another James Outman situation. I don't want him.
Okay.
It would be Josh Reddick again, honestly. It would be another Josh Reddick.
Could be. But I think he makes sense if for nothing else, the defense and what we get from him offensively, I think will be better than what we're getting from Conforto. And that to me is an upgrade.
Yeah. I mean,
Look, if you look at it like what like at the beginning of the season, what were you expecting from Michael Conforto as it relates to the rest of the lineup? Because
yeah,
we're not putting Conforto in the middle of the order.
I was expecting him to hit, I think, 240 with maybe 20 to 24 home runs. That was really all I'm asking for, but I don't think he's going
Yeah,
to get us this.
Harrison Bader is going to give you that. So
Right.
I think he would. I mean, it's a low bar because Conforto has been exceptionally bad this year, and the defense is terrible. You upgrade the defense, and you know you're going to get a little bit better offense. So I understand, and I listening to those numbers, I was almost convinced, but I think any the bar is low for an upgrade over Conforto, and I think Bader could provide you what you need or what they're lacking right now.
I still want Mike Talkman over Harrison Bader, and I'm
I
willing to
don't.
die on that hill.
That's a guy that I don't trust. I don't trust Mike Talkman. He feels like a candidate that once he puts a Dodgers uniform on, he's going to forget how to hit.
He gives me Kevin Kiermaier vibes in a good way, I believe.
Let me look it up. I mean,
But
Talkman he's hitting 285, which is great, and an 840 OPS. So he's having a great season, but he's also on a sinking ship Chicago White Sox team with no expectations.
And speaking of the sinking Chicago White Sox, JRM asking us, is Luis Robert Jr. still on the Dodgers trade radar?
I hope he's not. I don't know. He worries me. And here's the thing, they might charge a pretty penny for him. The Dodgers need pitching. The offense is a complementary thing at this point. And I know that they probably could benefit from another bat, but that's a luxury item right now for me. I think the priority is pitching. So if there's nobody else on the White Sox that they want pitching wise, I don't know if it makes sense to give up a lot for Luis Robert. They're going to ask for a lot, aren't they?
I think they'll ask for a good amount. I'm pretty sure they asked the Mets for Mark Vientos.
Yeah, no. If I'm the Mets, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I have no interest in Luis Robert Jr. I just don't think he's any good. I think he's another Eloy Jimenez, honestly, where he's going to be irrelevant in 3 years. He's been hot recently. I mean, 313 batting average over his last 15 games, but the damage has been done. He's still a 205 hitter with a 640 OPS. I'm good. Like I don't want anything to do with him.
I've been off that Luis Robert train since it began a couple of years ago.
We got a super chat from Carlos Garcia. Thank you so much, Carlos, for the super chat. It means a lot. If the Dodgers don't make any trades, do they repeat?
That's a great question. Start us off, Kevin. What do you think?
All right. I hate to be negative, but if they don't make any trades, I don't think they repeat. I think the bullpen seriously needs one arm. I think they have the lineup to get it done despite Conforto's struggles. I absolutely believe in the starting pitching. And I've pretty much been saying all season long, like, they don't need to acquire starters as long as they've got the big four. And it's looking like the big four are here to stay. Shohei Ohtani is about to pitch 4 innings on Wednesday. And I think that's a huge step forward in him being a proven back to form starting pitcher. And then Glasnow has been great. And we're going to get Snell against the Tampa Bay Rays in a kind of a revenge matchup. So with Kershaw's kind of your fifth guy and Sheehan, I think he could start in the playoffs if they needed him to. I think we're good. But yeah, the bullpen needs some work. And the lineup itself, like I think I just said a second ago, I think we could overcome Conforto if they kept him in the lineup. It'd be like Gavin Lux again. But I do think they need a bullpen arm. Otherwise, that bullpen is not gonna win them a World Series.
It's hard to say, do they repeat? definitively, because like you said, if this bullpen shows up like they're showing up this year, then no, I don't think that they can, because it doesn't really matter what the starters do. If the bullpen comes in and blows it or doesn't keep the game close, then what are you supposed to do about that? But can they? Absolutely, they can win a World Series without making a trade. They have a good enough roster. Think anything can happen once you get to October. It's all a matter of who's hot, who's healthy, and that's pretty much it. And you kind of just ride that. And the Dodgers have a good enough roster to win a World Series. But I don't think that they can take a chance by not making a move. They really do need to make one or two trades.
Oh, and speaking of Luis Robert Jr., I wanted to throw it out there. I think he does get traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. That's my prediction. And then we're not linked to Eugenio Suarez, but I absolutely think he's going to get traded too. And it's probably going to be the Cubs or the Mariners. I think my point is these National League teams are going to bolster up. And so the Dodgers have to count.
And another point, Kevin, the Cubs have had our number this year, and the Brewers. So that's and the Mets are good. Like the Dodgers are the competition has gotten better. So they've got to respond, and I think they will.
Aaron Sandoval, in a world where you have to trade one of the Dodgers outfield prospects in DePaula, Hope, Sirota, or Quintero, who would you be okay with trading with? Who would you be okay with trading?
Probably Sirota or Quintero if I had to choose, but it depends on who you're getting back. I've liked what I've seen from DePaula and Hope already, and I want to see how they pan out. But I have to say that it depends on who you're trading those guys for.
So they've all been exceptional. With Sirota, I feel like he could be like a Tyler O'Neill in a good way, a guy that just has a ton of pop. And I do think like he will be a proven MLB outfielder. If I have to give up one right now, he'll probably end up being the best one, knowing my luck. But it's probably Quintero. Unfortunately, I just feel like of these prospects right now, he has the least amount of hype in terms of where they stand, and that's not to knock him because he's actually one of the Dodgers' top prospects too. But I have to trade one of these. I guess I'm rolling the dice with Quintero.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
We'll take a few more questions if anyone else has any questions for us. Otherwise, there was a couple more things I want to talk about real quick. So Emanuel Clase was one of the names that the Dodgers obviously wanted, but the price was going to be very high. And it's almost like another Felipe Vasquez situation. Obviously not the same manner of punishment, but it was a guy with an expensive price tag that the Dodgers were interested in. And then minutes before the deadline, they get popped with a punishment. This time it's Clase with the gambling speculation. So he's been put on leave. He's not allowed to come back, I think, till August 31st. So he's basically done for this. He's not going to get traded, obviously. He could be done for the season now. He's the second Cleveland Guardians pitcher to get investigated for alleged gambling schemes, along with Luis Ortiz. Just kind of like a big picture here. Like, what do you think's going on?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if you saw some of the videos that have popped up today of Clase, wasting a first pitch when he comes out of the bullpen. But there seem to have been a lot of examples of that, and I don't know. I gotta wait to see what happens with him because it's still under investigation and all that jazz. But
yeah,
it's not good. It's not. Also, like I was thinking, like how obvious is it? Like what? Like if you're gonna do that, why make it so obvious as it being in the first pitch? Like you do it enough, it's gonna set off some kind of alarm bells.
Is like the bet or something like first pitch strike? I just don't get how like
I think the bet is first pitch ball.
Well, okay, so same thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, for a starter, like, I mean, you could definitely manipulate in a few ways, such as like over under 3.5 batters faced or over under how many pitches in the first inning. But for a reliever, I'm like, who's betting on Emmanuel Clase to throw a first pitch strike or first pitch ball or whatever?
Well, if you know what's going to happen, then you're going to bet on it. And I think that's
Why are the
maybe,
books allowing that? I guess is more the question then.
I don't know if the books are allowing that. I think, I who knows? I mean, who knows what's going on behind the
Like
scenes?
underground betting or something then.
I don't know. Maybe.
Anyways, it's just this whole gambling thing is kind of frustrating on both ends because it's like you go to any ballpark now and you'll probably see a DraftKings advertisement or FanDuel or Underdog Fantasy or go to Vegas signs. And it's like they're encouraging the entire fan base to bet on the sport. And then, of course, the players, like, for some of them, it's like, why not try to make a little extra money on the side? Like, you're just opening up Pandora's box when there's so much push for gambling.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna see in like 10 years or 20 years or whatever the Mitchell report equivalent of players that were involved in betting schemes. I'm not gonna name names specifically because that's not fair to throw someone under the bus if they haven't actually done anything. But I think we're gonna see some long ass report of like 50 to 100 players where they were on some ringleader betting thing.
Yeah. Could be. It definitely could be. Um, it's tough. I get it with all the signage and all the promotion and all of that. It's tough to be promoting that and then tell the players that they can't do it. But I mean, you got to know better. It's like with the steroid stuff. It's like you just got to know better and you got to do better. And you got to know that the hammer is going to come down. I mean, they are not fucking around here. So, it's like Pete Rose got a lifetime ban for betting on baseball. He wasn't even playing, and he was betting on his team to win most of the time. So, and he got banned for life, and only after his death did they, alleviate that.
We just got a Ken Rosenthal What I'm Hearing article, so I'm gonna have to read that in a second. And then
I can pull it up while you're
I'll
thinking.
stall with we'll multitask here and we'll both pull it up. But in the meantime, Aaron Sandoval with the question: over under 2.5 current Dodgers relievers you trust in high leverage right now. So I'll give the trust tree while Jake's looking. Alex Vesia for sure. That's one. Jack Dreyer 2. Blake Trinan 3. So I don't even have to go any further than that. I'm going over.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that those are the three guys you can trust. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I mean, Bonda maybe, but those three
Here
for
we go. Some not breaking news, but something we already thought about that you can now confirm. The Dodgers are in on Stephen Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians.
wow.
The Dodgers, Blue Jays, Phillies, and Padres among teams to believe in the mix. With the suspension now of Emanuel Clase, Rosenthal believes that this will encourage the Guardians to be more likely to move Stephen Kwan.
Interesting.
Is there
another reliever on that team that would be good?
Yeah, Cade Smith, but he has so many years of control. I just don't think Cleveland's going to trade him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
The other
Stephen
guy was
Kwan,
just Gaddis, I think was his name. I don't
Hunter
know.
Gaddis.
No, wait, maybe you're right.
You thought I was saying Evan Gaddis. I think it's
Yeah.
Hunter Gaddis.
No, you might be right. You're right. Sorry, I was. Yeah, I thought you were making a joke about Evan Gaddis. I was like,
Yeah.
not that fat motherfucker. No, yeah. Hunter Gaddis, you were correct. Yeah, he's having an okay year. He's got a 3.48 ERA.
I think Kwan would solve a lot of our problems. Would love that, as we know.
Kwan has to be the top outfield target, not Luis Robert Jr., Stephen Kwan.
100%.
He could be moved near the top of the lineup. The guy gets on base. He's a good contact hitter. I believe in him. I think he'd be an exceptional addition. I'm just trying to see if there's any other names here. Scrolling through it fast, so I might have to go back to this article and look. But no, it looks like the Padres are looking at Anthony Bender of the Marlins. And yeah, so I love that. I love to see that the Dodgers are interested in Stephen Kwan. That certainly makes this deadline even more interesting. So we'll see what happens. Moose 1032, Kevin. I think Luis Ortiz threw Clase under the bus and made a deal. Ortiz talked. Let's see. Is there anything else here question wise? No. Would you take Kwan over Donovan? Yes, I would absolutely take Stephen Kwan over Brendan Donovan. What would the cost be for Stephen Kwan? Probably would be I would probably be one of the Dodgers' top outfield prospects, like we talked about earlier. Suit up, Quintero. You're going to Cleveland. All right. Anything else, Jake? Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to cover? I know that we briefly went over Dodgers Red Sox. Wasn't that memorable of a series. So,
I mean, I felt like the Dodgers should have won that series, and they didn't. Yeah, it was just frustrating. It was a very frustrating series all around, and it. I don't know what happened to the offense against Buehler. We already talked about it, but that was kind of annoying. And Dustin May was not great again. And yeah, it sucks about Dustin May because I've always believed in him because I've seen how good he can be, and for whatever reason, even though he's been healthy this year and has made every turn in the rotation, he's just never really found his stride. He 8 innings for a while, and he was a guy that could get you through 5-6 innings when nobody in the starting rotation was doing that. So I gave him a lot of credit for what he was able to do this year, but ultimately just the execution was not there. So I think if they can get something for him, I would trade him, but if not, definitely would like to see what it's like for him in the bullpen.
No doubt about it. Well, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. The Dodgers will have 2 more games against the Cincinnati Reds, then they face the Tampa Bay Rays. So I'm really looking forward to that Blake Snell return. I want to see what his velocity, his accuracy looks like. But we got another show planned a couple days from now with Dodgers insider NBC LA's Michael Duarte. So he's coming on. So we'll talk some rumors there. That'll be Wednesday night. And then we'll see, Jake, if we're doing a live show sometime Thursday on the deadline day, live reaction to whatever moves. Anything pop culture you wanted to squeeze in real quick while we have a minute or two?
Anything pop culture? Well, I guess this is a shameless plug, but Spinal Tap 2 is coming out in September. My parents were down in San Diego this weekend at Comic-Con. And you'll love this, Kevin. My mom hated San Diego. She said she never wants to go back there. So she just thought it was ridiculous, and Comic-Con was strange, but they had a good time at the event and promoting it, and it's coming out in September.
I don't think this is a hot take when I say this, that San Diego is the nicest city on the mainland of the United States.
Okay.
I know that's going to upset
I have
people.
nothing. I have nothing against San Diego. I like it.
I think that would be my if I could swap San Diego for LA, like and everything else the same, like I get the Dodgers, I'll make that trade. But yeah, your dad's the GOAT, says Moose.
Thanks, Moose.
I don't think I have anything else on my mind. I don't think I have any rants, but no, it was a good episode. A lot of interesting rumors as the deadline is near for the Dodgers. Appreciate everyone tuning into the live stream. Leave a comment for us. Who do you want the Dodgers to acquire? What are your predictions for Alex Freeland. If you're listening on the audio feed, you can leave us a 5-star review and make sure to hit that subscribe button. But yeah, we'll be back in a couple days. Go Dodgers. Thanks for listening. Incline Dodgers Pod.